Kia ora team, Dave Benfell here, Rod and Rifle Magazine, and today we bring you a scope review. The scope company is called Accura and it is owned by C.R. Kennedy, which is a long established Australian outdoors company. The model is the 2-12x50 objective lens Stalker model. So it's marketed as being a hunting scope. It is sub $600, which really puts it firmly in the bracket of economy scopes. The times 50 objective lens is interesting, but within the economy scope, just because it has a big objective lens doesn't mean all of the components are there to have really good light transmission and a really clear image. So let's see how the Stalker stood up to field testing, turret testing, and accurate testing. First up, guys, is the field testing. Really important, especially with economy scopes, to really thrash them and get a good idea of if they're going to hold up. If you're paying economy amounts of money, you've got to be careful with the robustness of your product. So we have a whole raft of at least 3 to 5 hunts planned for the scope, and I'll be back soon to let you know how it had held up. So last day of the testing for the 12x Accura scope tomorrow. Obviously today we lucked out. Couldn't get the big stag to come down off the hill. He's a good head. He's a little bit weak on the tops, but he's a nice head. He's a nice head. So I'll see if I can put him on the deck tomorrow, and that'll be a good finish to the field testing. Once I'm back at base camp, I will finish the review with letting you know how we did in the field testing. Fingers crossed for tomorrow. The Accura Stalker was tested in a variety of hunts, everything from short afternoon fallow hunts to multi-days in the Wilberforce Valley. So how did the scope hold up? The longest shot we took with it was from Mary Williams, who had not used the scope before, and she used it to put a nice chamois buck on the deck at 270 meters. The scope handled that no problems whatsoever. The last hunt was the most important hunt in terms of the robustness of the scope. Although I didn't manage to get the stag on the deck, as you can see from the footage, that was a really tough hunt in terms of the scope. It needed to stand up to a lot of scrapes, a lot of knocks, there was a lot of river crossings, a lot of temperature changes. Now those are all things that can affect poorly made, cheap economy scopes. Overall, no problems whatsoever with the Stalker scope. The accuracy held up, the zero held, and nothing untoward happened to the scope. Next up is turret testing, guys, and this is basically where we see if the turrets are true, correct, and if they're going to make the adjustments as they're supposed to. Normally I would put this at the start, but however, after the hunting and the field phase, and obviously the zeroing, I want to put this at the end, because the scope has had a lot of knocks and it has seen a lot of actual kiwi hunting, and I've not been gentle with it whatsoever. So it will be really interesting to see if the turrets are still true and concise. In summary, guys, for the money you're paying, sub 600 New Zealand dollars, what a fantastic little scope. Great economy scope, really thrashed it, didn't have any problems with it holding zero. The turrets tested pretty good, no problems on the hunting side of things. The flip covers, obviously not really ideal for hunters, not robust enough, and they will break. If you're target shooting, however, they will do as they're supposed to work. Overall, guys, the scope, the lenses, they represent fantastic value for money, and I would highly recommend the Accura scopes.